So I want everybody to think about where they came from, who they are, what they believe, and really what they were taught growing up. I want you to think about the different belief systems and the different things and tips that maybe your mother or grandmother, whoever you were raised with, taught you, and the things that you hope to pass on through other generations. Throughout my life, I've been able to travel a little bit, and one place that I really thought was interesting and I really loved the culture was Peru. In Peru, they have a very different culture, a very different belief system than we do here, and many of the things that they do may seem a little bit different or weird to us, but they're all centered around some sort of belief or superstition. A superstition, really quickly, is just a belief in something that might be supernatural or might be based on an event or a thing that has often take place and becomes ingrained in a culture or community. So throughout my time in Peru, something that everybody always told me is to not leave my hair or personal things lying around. I always thought this was strange, but when I asked for people to explain more, they taught me about curanderos. Curanderos are healers or mystic people that do all sorts of different potions and spells and things like that can either help or hurt people. Many do nice healing things, while some are said to make deals with the devil and make death potions and things like that. So to keep your neighbors or your enemies from putting curses on you, people tend to gather up their things and keep them very close to them. Next thing I was always taught was not to take a cold shower after a soccer game or not to drink a cold drink on a hot day. Most people would say that there in Peru would say that this would kill me. And I always thought that was kind of a crazy idea. I have a medical background and never really saw anything behind that. But after asking a lot of people, I realized that events in their lives, people having this happen to them and having no other explanation, that this belief had become ingrained in their culture. I really enjoyed the ice cream and the soda there, but it was always kind of frowned upon to eat it on a hot day, and people always kind of looked at you funny, and I just kind of brought that into my own culture, and after a while there, I stopped drinking having ice in my drink and things like that, just because that's the way of life there. The next thing that everybody always tells you is that if a baby's crying or fussy, he must have el susto. This is a similar illness to something like that you see in Central America, where they say it's that you've got the evil eye or a bad spirit or energy about you. This can happen a lot of times to little babies. They say if a little baby is really just ill-tempered and fussy, that he must have el susto. They often seek out somebody who practices this egg healing. And a lot of times these are curanderos, but other people can do it as well. And what they do is they rub an egg on the individual until they're cured. And at first when they do it, they break the egg and it comes out with all this white stuff that they say is the absorbed bad spirit. And they do this over and over again until it comes out clean, and then you're healed. This I always thought was interesting. I thought it was so cool to see this practiced and see people's lives change after simply just passing an egg over the top of them. In extreme cases, sometimes they'd also use a guinea pig, even though I'm not sure why that's supposed to help or how they see that you're cured after that. They would also pass guinea pigs over people. Last thing that I thought was interesting and also relates back to the United States is that around the New Year's time, everybody would go out to the store or markets, and the stores and markets would just be full of red and yellow underwear. I always thought this was kind of crazy, and I didn't really understand for a long time why, but the colors are significant to the people there. Yellow is thought to bring a good year, a good fortune, and a lot of wealth. A lot of people there have their own businesses, and they really need that extra help. So as you can see here, an example of these markets that are just full of these yellow underwear. People would buy them, they'd wear full suits of yellow on New Year's Day and light off a ton of fireworks, trying to welcome in a good and wealthy year. Another color that was really important to them was red. Some people, a lot of times younger people, would wear this red, and it would kind of mark you that you were looking for love in your upcoming year. A lot of people wore these red and would try to find somebody to spend the rest of their year with. And it kind of made me laugh at first. You'd see the streets full of people wearing red and yellow, and you just kind of laugh. But honestly, it's something that they really believe in, and beliefs can go a long way when it comes to people.